Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Cosmos Atom. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to check that out. It's going to be in the top right hand corner of the video. Also, if you want to support Ukraine, there are two donation links down below in the description. Thank you all for supporting my country and supporting the channel. Let's get on with the video. Let me just extend this trend line here real quick. There we go. So we're jumping into the daily chart straight off the bat. I want to zoom out and show you the big picture here and the Fibonacci retracement that I have had on for I don't even know how many months now. It's more than a year and a half, maybe 2 years actually. Well, no, a year and a half, something like that. Slightly more than a year, basically. So we have our swing low here, we have our swing high over here, and with this we have our 1.618 target here at $269. Now, it is to be seen if this will be met during the next bull market. No one knows for sure, and I do want to extend actually this Fib retracement as well because the price action is already kind of getting out of it. And what we have done right now essentially with Cosmos is we bounced off the 0.5 support over here, which is at $5.84. Now with the pullback that we got in 2021 over here, as you can see, you bounced off the golden ratio here. So this was $8.74. So you had a bounce from here, you came all the way up, printed a higher high, and then you went all the way down here to the 0.5, and right now you're printing a lower high. So it would be very, very important for us to break at least the first fib level here of the retracement, which is currently sitting at $32.14. But Cosmos Atom has been performing very well with this pullback. It hasn't been dropping that much, but I fear that that may be just temporary, and we would see a pullback at least to the golden ratio here. So, you know, if we want to be bullish once again, we have to be breaking major resistance levels, and we're not doing that just yet on Cosmos. Other altcoins are not performing as well. For example, Polygon Matic is one that has done very well in the last couple of months, and Cosmos is one of those as well. So as you can see, what has happened is we broke out of this channel up pattern, we back tested it as resistance, and now we're pulling back down. And I did talk about this white trend line here being a very strong resistance at $12.39. And this was a key resistance area that we didn't manage to break. Well, we did break through it. We were above that for a day, and then we dumped back down below the 55 EMA. And if you were following the videos for quite a while, you would have known this, and you were able to potentially see a nice swing trade of around about 18-19%, because this is where we retraced to after our initial dump here in May. You had a little move to the upside, you went back down, created this falling wedge, and you dumped from there all the way down here to $5.60. Now, this buy zone over here, this golden area below, is your support. This is where you potentially want to increase your positions as much as possible if we do end up coming back down into this zone, of course. So we were below this zone for a bit, but we did see a nice back test of support here once, twice. So this is a valid support zone that I will be targeting, and if we enter this zone, I will most definitely be accumulating more Cosmos coins. So let's zoom in a little bit more here and see what is going on. As you can see, we have a smaller Fibonacci retracement setup. So we did use this swing low here, and we did use this swing high. So this is our swing high. So you had a pullback to the 0.5 from the swing high, and then you started creating higher lows and higher highs. This was a perfect uptrend. As you can see, you got to the 1.618 target here at $11.59. And right now, you're just failing to get through that resistance level. And, you know, if you took profits here, you could have bought back in nicely at the 55 EMA. You had two opportunities to do so. You had a move above the 1.618 here at the beginning of August and at the end of August, and both times you went below the 55 EMA. So you had a very nice buying opportunity. I wouldn't necessarily say that right now is a good time to take profits because Cosmos is back above the 20 EMA, which is the yellow line. The gap in between the EMAs isn't that large, and I'm not going to be risking, with any swing trades. In fact, I'm staking my Cosmos coins with the Kepler wallet. If you want to see how to do that, there will be a link in the top right hand corner right now. Feel free to check that out if you want to stake your coins and earn free airdrops. Now, what we have done here as well is we have printed a higher low, which is very bullish. So you have this low over here and you have a lower low. Well, this is your low basically, and this is your higher low. And you're continuously making higher lows and higher highs, which is very, very good. Now, the important thing right now would be is to break this high. If we fail to do that and you start coming up and you create a double top pattern, a double M top pattern, then that would be a very negative signal. And if you start losing this low, you're going to see a nice target to the downside. I would say somewhere closer to $8.75 or $9. But regardless, I do think we're going to retest this zone because Cosmos isn't strong enough to sustain or to withhold the Bitcoin pullback, if you know what I mean. Because if Bitcoin dumps below $18,000, then I think Cosmos is going to drop down significantly, and we're probably going to go back into this golden buy zone, which is anywhere from $8 to $7.40. So you have a couple of support levels below. Let me go through those with you. So you have a support level at $10.56, $9.90. You have the support level at $8.76, which is the first fib level of this smaller retracement. And you printed this high in June 25th, right? And below you have the buy zone. Now, if you're looking at resistance levels, then obviously the $12.44 is still up there. You have this high over here at $13.25. You have the second fib level over here at $13.80. And then you have the 2.272 at $15.60. So these are some of the resistance levels that you want to keep in mind if you want to swing trade or you want to take some profits. Doesn't matter, but these are the levels that I have for you. Now, if we jump into the daily RSI and we zoom out, you can see that there are 3 trend lines here that could hold us as support. As you can see, we're just going sideways here with the daily RSI, and we haven't really bounced off of any of these support trend lines for now, but I do think that will be coming in the near future. So obviously you have the pink trend line, which has 2 touches, actually 3 touches as support here and multiple bounces as resistance. Then we broke through it here in June and we haven't had the back test of support. So potentially we could back test the pink trend line. Look for that. If you see it touch, if you see the RSI touch the trend line, that would be a great entry point. Below that, you do have 2 orange trend lines as well. These are previous trend lines from the symmetrical triangle that we were printing here in April and June. From April till June, I should say, and we haven't back tested any of those yet. So you have one trend line that has 2 tests of resistance. You have a trend line that has 3 tests of support. So we need to back test one of these. That is very possibly going to happen in the next couple of weeks. September is historically a very bearish month for crypto, so I would expect Cosmos to come back down to either one of these support trend lines. In fact, if we do see a strong capitulation, you may go all the way down into the oversold zone, regardless of these support trend lines. And as you can see, these levels below the index of 30 are always great entry points. Now, switching over to the Binance chart, we have a different Fibonacci setup over here with the extension levels to the downside. So the 1.272, the 1.414, and the 1.618 are down here below our swing low. And the swing low is the low that we printed in June of last year. And the swing high is the one that we printed in September of last year. So we did have a technical target at $2.66 after we dropped below the swing low over here. And we have recovered ever since with a nice V-shaped recovery. So right now, everything is looking bullish. Also, I want to tell you guys about this support trend line that I gave you a couple of months ago. Actually, this was before we ended up dropping here. So I gave you this support at $6.87 because this was the high that we printed in July of 2019. And as you can see, we went down all the way to this trend line perfectly, which was a very good backtest of support, which was previous resistance, because you printed this high here, you had a little fake out over here, then you broke through this resistance levels, and now you've come back down to retest, and from here you potentially could see a nice move to the upside. So this is just technical analysis 101, and I wasn't, doing anything secretive to find out about this level. I just gave you it in one of the videos, in May, I think, and we ended up dropping exactly to this point. Obviously, we did see a wick below, but for the most part, we held this level over here, and this is a good support level in case we see another capitulation. And right now we're running into the 20 weekly EMA. That is something to keep in mind. I always tell you guys that the 20 EMA on the daily and on the weekly chart and on the monthly chart for that matter are strong resistance levels. And here we had a wick all the way to the 20 EMA, and right now we can see a move to the downside afterwards because you haven't had a back test of the 20 EMA since April 4th. Right? So that's been a long time since you touched the 20 EMA. Right now, you finally did that. You can come back down, hopefully for a higher low. And $7.85 would be a great area to print that low, hopefully, because you don't want to lose this low that we printed in June of this year. So hopefully we hold $7.85. That is an important level. If we keep pumping, you have another resistance level here at $15.20, and you have the 55 EMA currently sitting at $17.60. Jumping into the weekly RSI, one thing that I mentioned in the previous updates is this red resistance trend line that we are currently running into, as you can see. So this was a support trend line that we back tested in June of 2020, in June of 2021, and we lost it here in April of this year, and we're back testing it as resistance here in August. So like I said in the previous updates, if you run into this trend line, this would be a good zone to take some profits if you want to, go for that risk. If you don't want, or you're not planning to hold Cosmos Atom for the long term, you could potentially take some profits at this level and buy back in if you start coming back down. Potentially, you could come back down to this level over here, which you back tested all the way back in March of 2020. That's why I have this trend line up here. So it's up to you to decide. I'm not going to be taking any profits on Cosmos. I will simply be adding more to my position. And yeah, so if you want to swing trade it, you want to go for it, great. That's up to you. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just letting you know that this is an important resistance level, that it doesn't seem like we're going to break through it because the market sentiment and all the news that we're getting are not installing any positivity into the buyers. And obviously we dropped from the symmetrical triangle here all the way down into the oversold. That was a great opportunity to buy some Cosmos, and from here we saw a nice appreciation. So like I said, your next support on the weekly RSI would be over here at 34 on the index. That's a great entry in my opinion. Also, the weekly stochastic is sitting above the level of 80, which means you're currently overbought. And if I go to the settings of my stochastic, I have upped the length of the RSI here to 28, so it was sitting at 14 before. I upped it to 28 so that we get more, or we get less false signals. So right now, every time you've been in this zone over here, you saw a strong move to the downside, except this time you didn't really reach the overbought zone. And so if you want to buy into Cosmos, potentially wait for a bit because you're running into a resistance level. Wait until you get down here on the weekly stochastic. That would be a great entry point. But the video is going on for way too long. I do apologize for that. Thank you all for watching. If I missed anything important on the charts, please let me know down below in the comment section. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to join me on my Patreon, and I'm going to catch you in the next one.